Dermatoglyphics. The complex brain has been a challenge to mankind in spite of advancements in science and technology. Progress is underway in understanding how information is coded in neural activity, how memories are stored and retrieved, what baseline activity does the brain represent, how the brain stimulates the future, what are emotions, what is intelligence, how is time represented in the brain, why brains sleep and dream, how the specialized systems of the brain integrate with one another, and what is consciousness. Though various angles, combinations, and permutations unraveling the mysteries of the mind has progressed, one spectacular revelation of human psychology has been the study of fingerprints in understanding brain functioning and behavior. Fingerprints have exhibited to be the mirror to a human being's individuality. The fingerprint patterns are related to the brain's cortical folds has been revealed in the study of embryogenesis. Studies in neurology, biochemistry, neurobiology have established the functional connection between the fingerprints and the various locations of human brain, and this phenomena has also been acknowledged by the Nobel Peace Prize in 1986. There has been enough evidence to correlate the relation between the brain and the fingerprints. The forebrain governs all thinking abilities and organ coordination functions, and it has been observed that babies born with cephalic abnormality are devoid of any fingerprint ridges too. Advanced studies in genetics and developmental biology have claimed that the different lobes of the human brain are physiologically connected to different fingers of both the hands. Hence, there is a difference between the functions of the right and the left halves of the brain. Fingerprint patterns can readily tell us about the thinking patterns, our personality, the preferred learning style, and much more. The basic patterns on the fingers are arches, loops, and whorls, which have several combinations. The patterns of the fingerprints reveal how a person thinks, feels, and acts. That is, his cognition, conation, and affection. This scientific study of fingerprints started in 1892 by Sir Francis Galton. Dr. Harold Cummins later termed the study as dermatoglyphics and came to be known as the father of American fingerprint analysis. Dermatoglyphics focuses on analyzing the intelligences that a person is born with by simply looking at the dermal ridge patterns on the fingers. The major role played by neocortex in learning and memorizing a situation and registering consequent changes in the environment lead a human being to be an intellectually conscious being. According to the developmental biology, neocortex development goes hand in hand with other groove dermal developments. Dermatoglyphics serves as a helpful tool for investigators in personal identification as it is accurate, precise, without having any error in the system. It has now been established as a useful diagnostic and research tool in medicine and provides important insights into inheritance and embryological development of many clinical disorders. A novel and dynamic tool of fingerprint analysis is the biometric testing that has been evolving in recent times, called the Dermatoglyphic Multiple Intelligence Test, or the DMIT. Dermatoglyphics Multiple Intelligence Test is a biometric assessment of the individual's fingerprints to map his or her brain functioning. After plenty of research conducted, in 2008, Professor Lin Rui procured the US patents for dermatoglyphics. Once formed fingerprints are static and do not change with age, so an individual will have the same fingerprints throughout his life. This is pointed out as an advantage of the biometric technique as the results are a pure measure of innate abilities, not tampered by the environmental conditions. This makes the biometric test an invaluable tool for correctly analyzing and identifying a candidate's true personality. A person may easily deceive an interviewer, but it is impossible for fingerprints to lie. Fingerprint recognition is the most pervasive, oldest, simplest to install, and the lowest cost biometric technology. Based on the fingerprints, the dermatoglyphic report can assess and evaluate a personality. Considering the scenario, biometric assessment is superior in the place of a psychometric test. The biometric test is highly comprehensive, based on the scientific platform, and correctly reveals hidden inborn personality traits. This test is highly scientific and derived from an individual's fingerprints, which are unique and also can be conducted on any individual within minutes. It also reveals that each finger is connected to a specific area of the brain in the cerebral cortex. This can be divided into 5 lobes. The thumb connected to the prefrontal lobe, which corresponds to the mental ability. The index finger and the frontal lobe, mainly used for thinking and imagination. The middle finger and the parietal lobe, governing the kinesthetic ability. The ring finger and the temporal lobe, governing the auditory perception, and the little finger and the occipital lobe, primarily used for visual perception. Dermatoglyphics also identifies the learning styles of an individual. The preferred learning style of a person can be auditory, kinesthetic, or visual. The development of dermatoglyphics as a science, with numerous applications in various fields like biology, medicine, genetics, evolution. Dermatoglyphics is like a map that leads one to understand his own potentials and talents. Everyone inherits innate intelligence from their parents. If they are identified early, we may further develop the strengths and improve our weaknesses so that the left and the right brain grow in a more balanced, blended manner. Dermatoglyphic patterns such as fingerprints are also potential genetic markers for a number of behavioral syndromes. There are specific fingerprint pattern distributions associated with Down syndrome, Turner syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome, De Lange's syndrome, Rubinstein-Tabby syndrome, and several others. More recently, the association of specific finger ridge patterns with some forms of psychosis has suggested a genetic origin for these behaviors as well. In daily life, dermatoglyphics helps in parenting, education, career development, marital compatibility, and personal success.